20th century saw the rise and fall of grand ideologies, utopias scattered on the ground like Jenga with more murder. To counter this, we in America decided to develop our own ideologies: egalitarianism, progressivism, capitalism, democratism. Picking your ideology became like picking your favorite Beatle. I like progressivism. He's the funny one. In response to this phenomenon, Russel Kirk wrote the essay The Errors of Ideology. In it, Kirk argued that what we needed wasn't a bigger, better ideology, but something else. More on that later. See, Kirk views ideology as a replacement for religion. When Enlightenment thinkers abandoned Christianity, they needed some new objective thing, some unalterable, unchallengeable principle to build their agenda on. So they replaced the hard truths of religion with airy-fairy ideals, impersonal principles floating in the sky. Call it ideolatry. Usually, the ideologues picked one principle, self-interest, economic productivity, personal liberty, whatever, and subordinated every other principle to it. They only allowed themselves to paint with one color because that was the principled, enlightened thing to do. There are, of course, left-wing ideologies: communism, globalism, wokeism, but there are other kinds too: libertarianism, anarchism. There's also a kind of constitutionalism that thinks that the American Constitution fell out of the sky, that it contains the ideal governing principles for every kind of people group in history, from Afghans to Klingons. And we don't need to add any new laws because we already achieved perfection. But here's the problem. If you elevate one impersonal principle, it doesn't mix too well with reality, because reality is personal and weird and hard to flatten out. Ideology turns political discussions dumber too. We all present our utopias and evaluate. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. You're a communist, I'm a libertarian, we'll see which utopia sounds more fun. It's safer. We don't ever have to bump into reality. We just talk in the realm of dueling principles. Ideology is tempting because it's rationalistic. It feels neutral and principled, but it makes you sound dumb. Here's Kirk. Ideology provides sham religion and sham philosophy, comforting in its way to those who have lost or never have known genuine religious faith, and to those not sufficiently intelligent to apprehend real philosophy. Have you ever been watching a movie and you start to think, has this actor ever met an actual person?
How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
That's what it's like watching an ideologue do his thing. One thing about ideologues is they love internal consistency. If you've ever talked to one, you know. You can't poke holes in his arguments because they all fit with each other. But just because it's self-consistent doesn't mean it's true. In the same way that just because it doesn't have any plot holes doesn't mean it's a good story.
Of course, what do you think? They already put my ideas into practice.
No, let's not pick on Tommy. He seems like a nice guy.
I'm so happy I have you as my best friend, and I love Lisa so much.
Chesterton talked about how hard it is to talk to an insane person. If you get into an argument with one, you're probably going to lose. They can only think in narrow circles. The lunatic's theory explains a large number of things, but it does not explain them in a large way. Losing an argument with an ideologue is like losing to a pig in a turd-eating contest. Don't feel bad, it's all they do. Ideology is tempting because it's thinking on easy mode. You get to feel superior because you're so ideologically pure. And it's not that we shouldn't have principles, but those principles should have a healthy relationship to each other and should be subject to something higher. We need a point of integration for all our principles. Ideology replaced Christianity in political thought, and let me say, bad move. But what does Kirk suggest instead of ideological politics? Well, he calls it prudential politics. It's about finding realistic solutions to problems. The solutions aren't always ideal, but that's life. There's a difference between making decisions on the chalkboard and making decisions on the battlefield. These folks know that people and societies have limits. They don't try to pick one principle, but try to use wisdom. They don't knock things down for no reason, or just because their ideology tells them to. Our Declaration of Independence appealed to the law of nature and nature's God, which is different from appealing to an abstract idea. God made the world, and he wrote a book. We should learn from him and do our best to make decisions in light of this. To get good at something, first you train your instincts, then you act on instinct. That's how this works. And this isn't just another ideology. Ideologues don't understand the concept of wisdom, proportionality, making decisions when there's no clear directive. They're not serious people, but they are self-serious, which makes all the difference. They're serious in the way the room is serious.
You betray me. You're not good. You're just a chicken. Chip, 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 chip.
Sorry.